Wedding videography completely changed my life. It bought me a house, a place to raise my 2 boys, a car. It let me travel all around the world, and it gave me some of my best experiences in life. So if you're thinking, what should I do for my next career? Or I really just want to get away from my boss, then wedding videography is a really good career to look at. And it's also one of the easiest careers to make $100,000 per year in. There aren't that many careers in the world where you get to go outside, be amongst nature, fresh air, sunshine, eat great food that's paid for, meet amazing people, and really get skills that will last you your entire lifetime. And wedding videography or filmmaking, whatever you want to call it, it is that. Obviously, there are things that you do need to think about, like having your weekends filled up with weddings instead of being able to go hang out with your friends and family. But if you're able to manage that, then it is a really amazing career. So if you just stumbled upon this video and you're thinking, who is this person? I'm somebody who's had a wedding studio over the last 12 years. We've earned just under $500,000 a year, probably around about $3.5 million in total that we've processed in our wedding photo and video business. And we've done around about 150 weddings or so per year, sometimes less, sometimes more. Even if you were somebody who was pretty young and you were thinking, I don't want to do wedding videography for my whole life, even if you did it just for a few years, those few years would teach you more about humanity, about how to deal with humans, how to deal with people who are emotional, drunk people, teach you more about yourself than just about any other job. So even if you didn't want to do it full time, the skills that you would learn in those first few years, you would take with you for the rest of your life. I can't think of anything that would not benefit from having the amazing human skills that you learn filming weddings. Not to mention all the other stuff that comes with it. Like when you're running your own studio, you're learning how to do sales, you're getting these crazy website, graphic design, social media skills. In this day and age, you get a lot better at talking in front of cameras and presenting. And those are all things that other businesses will literally kill for. Let's talk about the most important thing when it comes to a job though. And that is money. Because if you don't have money, it doesn't matter what career you want to go after. If the money isn't there, you can't really pursue that if you need to have rent, food, etc., right? And there really aren't that many jobs where somebody who's interested in filmmaking, video, photography, or whatever you want to do can earn $100,000 pretty easily. I know so many people, and I've worked with so many people who started out earning a couple grand a month. Within the space of 3 months, they're earning 15, 20 grand a month, depending on how many weddings they actually want to book. But yeah, there just aren't that many careers where you can actually earn $100,000 fairly easily. And the most amazing thing about it is the fact that you don't have to report to a boss. Everybody knows, everybody has had a bad boss in the past. Somebody who micromanages, tells you to do things that aren't important, or maybe who's just a bit of a prick. You know, the really nice thing about wedding videography is that you don't have technically a boss. The funny thing is a lot of people will say, running your own business is easy. And obviously those people don't actually know anything about business because it is really hard. But the crazy thing is you quit your job to not have a boss. But when you're working freelance or for yourself, you've actually got like 100 bosses, depending on how many clients you have per year. But the good thing is that you get to set the boundaries to each one of those clients. You get to say, hey, these are the hours that I'm available when you can talk to me, and anything outside of those hours, you cannot talk to me. And you don't have that power when you're working for somebody else. Somebody else dictates everything. Working as a wedding videographer and having my own studio, I always forget about this, but I have to be really, really grateful because I got to travel around the world. I got to go shoot so many amazing weddings in amazing countries. And I know when you're like a shitty employee for somebody else, you just don't get to have those experiences. And where I live in Sydney, Australia, it's actually considered to be, I think, the second least unaffordable place to live in the world. Every house is like 1.5 million. The electricity is expensive. Everything about living here is really expensive. And I've been able to buy my own house when lots of my friends weren't able to because our area is just so unaffordable. So being able to take control of your own life is something that I'm really, really grateful for. But I do have to say, when it comes to wedding videography, you do have to enter into that world with eyes wide open. What I mean by that is you have to be really intentional with how many weekends that you're willing to work. It's really hard. I found myself falling into the trap of, okay, if I NA myself and I roster off that weekend for a friend's family dinner or a friend's wedding, I know for a fact that I'm missing out on, thousands of dollars. So I originally fell into the trap of, oh, hey, I'm at this friend's birthday party, but I know in my head this cost me like $4,000. And I think it's really important not to fall into that trap. It's kind of something that's really easy to fall into, but you kind of can't. You just have to know, okay, I only work 3 weekends out of the month and I always keep one off. And if it's going to be a friend's wedding or something really important like friend or family or whatever, or a birth, then I have to be comfortable calling one of my friends and saying, listen, this has happened. Could you please fill in for me? And then I call the client and say, listen, my sister's just had a baby. I've got a friend who has equal experience as I do. Would you like to have them at your wedding? Nothing's going to change. You're still dealing with me. I'll brief them. Everything's the same. And they're actually more expensive to book than me. And usually when you preface it like that, people are totally fine with it. So as long as you can come into the profession knowing some of the pitfalls and some of the things that you accumulate over those 10 years, a bit of that wisdom, I think it's a really amazing industry. And if you're able to avoid those pitfalls, there aren't that many careers in life that I would recommend to a creative person and say 100% go for it. So if you are considering changing your work, if you're in that spot where you don't really know what to do next, I would definitely recommend getting into that world, especially if you've got a love of cameras and you want to get out there and meet people and travel and all those kind of things.